It is high time that you reevaluate your approach to money management if you are always wondering where your hard-earned cash is going. Every time you get paid, there is a good possibility that you are wasting it on things that you do not need. However, if you are committed to achieve those financial goals, it is time for you to reevaluate your strategy. The first step is to create and stick to a budget with as much diligence as possible, which requires you to keep a careful eye on your spending patterns. If you are unclear about how to continue, the following is a guide that will help you get started. Below are 6 steps. In order to efficiently manage your costs, the first step is to choose where you will begin. In the first place, you need to have a complete comprehension of your current financial situation. This requires you to be aware of a number of important aspects, such as your total monthly expenditures. This comprises all of your costs, from groceries to bills and entertainment, as well as the amount of your spending that goes toward fixed expenses like rent or mortgage payments and variable expenses like eating out or shopping, as well as the portion of your income that is assigned to the repayment of your debt and your current savings. If you want to evaluate your financial health, one of the most helpful tools you can use is to calculate your personal net worth. You simply subtract your total debts from your assets. If your net worth is positive, this is a good sign because it indicates that you have more assets than debts, which indicates that you are managing your money well. On the other hand, if it is negative, this indicates that your debts are greater than your savings. And if the majority of what you owe is from credit cards, this could mean that you are overspending. As a result, you will need to reevaluate your spending habits and the way that you keep track of your expenses. You may simplify this procedure by using an online net worth calculator if you are not excellent with numbers. An online calculator can be found here. The second step is to classify your expenditures and expenditures. Once you have determined your general financial condition, it is time to classify your monthly expenditures into the appropriate categories. One of the most efficient methods for doing this is by using the 50-30-20 rule, which separates your budget into 3 primary categories: needs, desires, savings, and debt. To begin, we have needs, and according to the 50-30-20 budget, you are required to spend money on these items in order to maintain a minimum quality of living. You should allocate around 50% of your budget to cover the costs of housing, utilities, food, medical care, and insurance. There are some of these costs that remain constant on a monthly basis, such as rent or regular mortgage payments. A number of additional expenses, such as utility costs, are subject to change when it comes to housing. It is recommended that you should not spend more than 30% of your income on living expenses, such as rent or mortgage payments. If you are going to go above that, it may be time to seek for methods to minimize expenditures, such as refinancing your mortgage or downsizing to a smaller property. If you are interested in knowing more about the desires, we have them. According to the 50-30-20 guideline, around 30% of your money may be allocated to this area. This category can contain things like new clothing, eating out, and vacations. These non-essential purchases are beneficial to your lifestyle, but are not required for survival. Attractions for leisure activities and trips to spas. Typically, this is the point when major. If you are in need of some financial assistance, you may make some reductions. At long last, we have savings and debt. This is where the remaining 20% of your budget is allocated. You may choose to divide it equally between saving money and paying off debt, or you can alter it depending solely on the priorities that you have. When it comes to debt, you could have school loans, credit card debt, vehicle loans, or other obligations to pay off. The manner in which you pay them off depends on your financial circumstances and the objectives you have set for yourself. Saving money might be used for emergency reserves and short-term or long-term goals such as purchasing a home or preparing for retirement. You may pay off what you owe by using strategies such as the debt snowball or the debt avalanche. However, it is important to bear in mind that these are only suggestions, and you are free to modify them according to your financial objectives and the strategies that are most effective for you. When you are managing your monthly spending, the next stage is to prioritize and automate the process. It is vital to establish a hierarchy for the distribution of your finances, and it is logical to start with your essential bills and basic living expenditures. After that, you may create a budget for everything else, including your needs, savings objectives, and debt payback. By using the 50-302 rule, you need to devote 50% of your revenue to covering these expenditures. The process of automating your finances is a simple method that can be used to guarantee that your monthly bills are paid on time. You may establish automated payments for your regular costs, such as payments on your debt and transfers to your savings account. Automating your rent or mortgage, utilities, mobile phone, and internet bills are just examples of the kinds of day-to-day bills that you can automate. Automobile insurance payments made on student loans. If you have a tendency to miss due dates, you should consider automating your credit card bills and contributions to your emergency fund and individual retirement account, IRA. The more you can automate, the easier it will be to manage and keep track of your costs. When you set up reminders, they will notify you when payments are due to be taken out of your bank account. This will make your financial life as stress-free as it can possibly be. If you are someone who learns best via visual means, the fourth step is to create a spreadsheet. Using a spreadsheet to keep track of your monthly income and spending in a single location might be beneficial. This strategy is advantageous if you get payments on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and want to arrange your spending according to the week. By doing so, you will be able to simply keep track of when your monthly bills are due and cross them off as you make payments. Spreadsheets for budgeting offer additional convenience by automating calculations, providing real-time monthly spending updates, and indicating how much of your budget you have left. Depending on the provider of your banking or credit card services, you may even have the option to access this information automatically, which eliminates the need for manual data entry. Step 5 is to use an application. Other simple solutions for managing your monthly spending are budgeting or expense tracking applications that you can link to your bank and credit card accounts. These apps allow you to keep track of your monthly transactions. Through the use of these applications, you will be able to readily obtain transaction data without having to transfer between several platforms. Some apps even offer additional features that allow you to tag or categorize expenses and generate graphs or charts to represent your spending habits each month visually. So if you prefer a simplified expense tracking approach, an app may be ideal as it handles most of the work for you. However, it's worth noting that apps cannot track cash transactions since they primarily rely on electronic records. Therefore, you'll still need to manually enter those expenditures into the app to ensure accurate calculations of your total spending. Sixth, make use of the facilities provided by your bank in order to monitor your accounts. Using the financial insights that are supplied by your bank is another efficient option. You won't need to create complicated spreadsheets or download particular budgeting applications. Instead, you can just log into your bank account to have access to tools that can organize and keep track of all of your expenditures. Make sure to get in touch with your financial institution and question about the availability of budgeting and spending monitoring services and tools. These resources can give you a comprehensive overview of your finance all in one place. This information lets you stay focused and work towards your financial goals. Effectively, how you handle your finances is ultimately your call. Something only you can decide, and remember, keeping tabs on your expenses isn't as daunting as it may seem. It's all about forming a habit like any other important routine. It takes some effort and repetition to shift from trying to remember to doing it consistently now. While some folks prefer manually jotting down every transaction, others find convenience in using an app that automatically syncs with their accounts to track expenses. Whichever method you choose, the key is to carve out a routine to review your spending and assess your financial